it's Ronnie. I got my coat on because I was getting chilly. It's down to 63 out here on the hill, and I was grilling, chilling, and listening to the Nebraska football game. And I still got my burger out there, so I can't wait too late. But yeah, I don't feel bad about Nebraska doing what they did. It's just not their day again. It's not mine either. I started working on the Intrepid. I spent $120 for a battery. I know I'm probably going to have to spend, give or take, $100 for a fuel pump. And I was checking everywhere. I spent 12 hours down the Intrepid and attempted to cut a hole because they say these 2002s don't have an access door to the fuel pump like the earlier ones did in the trunk. But yeah, they move stuff around. It's a different... Well, I cut a hole, but not. There's too much stuff in the way. I'm going to have to pull the whole fuel tank. You know, I said, I don't know anything about this car except I know I drove it 3 days, and my mom had a lot of work done to it, but that's a 2.7 liter V6 where the water pumps go out and destroys the motor in about a week, and there's still a timing belt drive. It's got new tires, but, you know, a couple of the newer tires are cracking. It's my mama's car. I already got $200 and 8, 10, 12 hours into getting my mama's car going. That ran, and most of the stuff on it worked because it's my mama's car. It sat 5.5 years, okay? But I'm not giving up. I have to, the only way I can make sure this thing will even start is drop the fuel tank, check the fuel pump. Everything else kind of lit up. I put the battery on for a split second because you don't want to have a battery hooked up when something's been sitting for 6 years. If it has gasoline, it says it had half a tank of gas, and I put stable in it and everything, but it's not going to last 6 years. I have to pull the tank, everything else. Where it's at, I can't reach even with my air hose from my garage. I can't really push it and drag it around by myself. So, but yeah, I already got like 12 hours in it. I got everything to light up, but I don't even know if this engine is worth... It burned a quart of oil every 350 miles. My mama just drove around town. That's no big deal. I'm gonna put time into it, pull the tank, probably buy an aftermarket fuel pump setup, dodging, the batteries in the front fender in front of the right wheel. There's no fuel filter on the entire fuel system except in the fuel pump. Blah, blah, blah. Just major. Yeah, and these engines are known to explode constantly because even the 3.5s are better, but this is a 3.7. It ain't blew up yet, but it burns a quart of oil every 350 miles. But my mama put a whole bunch of money and stuff into it and left it with me. I'm going to see if I can get it going. But I am not going to spend $200. I already got almost $200 in it, and 12 hours. And I leave a little Kia Racer out there that had the main seal go out, and then the water pump go out. Right there, those two parts are $50. $50, and then in 25 hours, I could pull that whole engine and transmission. The transmission is still working fine, but I could pull the engine, transmission, see if there's too much slop, pull the engine, transmission together, and then separate them because they're small enough I can roll them on the ground, on the concrete. I don't even need an engine stand. And see if there's any play in the crankshaft. In the automatic, there shouldn't be. And then I could change that main seal and change the water pump, which very easy access. You know, the water pump's like $50, but don't buy a Gates. And then while I was doing that, I would take the seal out of the automatic transmission part, and I would check the shaft, and if the bushing is loose in the transmission pump, that's where it meets the motor, I would order parts for like $9 and replace the bushing inside the pump because the transmission's still working fine. What do? Do I spend 25 hours on the Intrepid or 25 hours on the Kia Racer? That I know the engine and everything is just freaking perfect, except seals are taking a crap. You know, unless I pull it and split it and then see if something's wrong. The main bearings and stuff in them little Kias don't ever wear out. It's just a seal, took a dump. Maybe there's a thrust washer while I got it out. I can pull the oil pan, check it all out. For $200 in 25 hours, I could probably have that thing make over 500,000 miles. It's 470,000. It doesn't burn any oil. It's just, stuff gives out and the seals give out. But on Intrepid, I'm debating. I already got $200 in it and about 10, 12 hours. I think I'm going to go after that first because it was my mama's. And I'm probably going to have another, if I'm lucky, 20 hours in it. And I'm going to have to borrow some air hose from work because I got to do this all outside because I can't get into my garage because you can't push or pull. Well, I can drag it a little bit with a pickup, but there's no way I'm going to get it up on the concrete and in my garage. I have no one to help me, so I got to do this all by myself. But I'm debating, but nothing went correct today. Just like Nebraska, everything kind of goes and then it goes bad. That's reality. That's life, man. Okay, I'm going to go up to the Intrepid and see if I can borrow some arrows from work and do it out on the grass, laying down rubber mats. I drug it backwards out of the hole it was in. But I said, I have no clue. I drove that car like 3 days until the plates expired when Mama had it. It had new tires on, and then the new tires are the ones that are cracking. After sitting 5 years, the old ones are doing fine. But the water pump, I don't know what's been done to it. I know it sucks oil. It had a lot of banging in the suspension underneath, but it's my mama's car. So I'm going to go after it, but if I'm going to spend another, I'm saying 20 hours and maybe $100 in it, then I'm going to have to say that's it. And then on a Kia, 20 hours for $100, I know it will run and keep going. Maybe. Or do I just keep driving my Lincoln or find me an old beater somewhere for $500? Oh, my buddy found a $500 Kia Spectra. Struts or shot everything, but he just lives in town. 2008, 130,000 miles. Yeah, he takes care of it. It's scratched up and banged up and got dents and ain't really rusting much, but it's a toss-up. What are you going to do? I don't know. I'm going to probably drop the whole tank and fuel pump and all this stuff and change some lines. It's all rusty underneath and it's rusted on the outside some, but it's beat to death anyway. And the 2.7 is the worst motor Dodge ever made that's in this car. I don't know if they change the water pumps or anything or timing belts. We'll go see. God and my angels tell me. They're telling me play with it some more. And then at least get it running for Mama again. And then if it scatters, I'm like, woo, well, there you go. At least Mama, I got it running for you. But the Kia is probably a better bet, even though the body's rusted out, the whole subframe, everything is solid. I've been driving it for 25 hours, and I said, I already got $200 and some in that Intrepid just for a battery and some other stuff. Fuel pumps like 120. The Kia, everything's working except it's leaking oil. Like, but 25 hours either way, and I don't have 25 hours. That's the problem. I'll get it all worked out. And hey, Nebraska did what they could do. They fought their butt off. Just sometimes the ball don't roll your way. Just like with me with this Intrepid or the Kia now. I'm like, yeah, I can pull the whole motor and trans and do all that in 25 hours, but is it worth it? I know the motor is, and the transmission seems okay, and I get it right, but I don't have that much time. And I might have to be driving a Lincoln, and if I'm going to put 25 or 30 hours into stuff, I'm going to finish the engine for that Ranger that sits in front of my garage with the super lift that's made for beating around the countryside and the desert and everything. I have the motor 3/4 done, transmission automatic. I'm going to go through, but if I'm going to spend 25 or 30 hours, I'll spend 50 on that Ranger, my Rat Rod Ranger with the super lift, and know everything's brand freaking new and gonna go. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a catch-22. But it's all good, man. It's beautiful. I made it through another day. Just nothing worked. Tomorrow I'm going to try to maybe work on the boat. I hope. I don't know. I'll see what God and angels tell me to do. But I think I need to work on the boat and relax on something that I built and designed that I know what I'm doing is going to work. Don't have to guess if a week later something else is going to blow up. And they say I need to enjoy my time. Take some time to do what you like to do. So there you go. But now it's all good, man. Nebraska gave it a hell of a shot. I'm doing, but today just didn't work for me at all. I should have just quit at like noon and said, meh. But I don't know. Kind of like Nebraska. They had it going, lost it, had it going, lost it. Just, you got them days when nothing quite worked right, but you can't really just stop and not finish the college football game. And this is my own stuff, so if it's not going right, I should just stop and say quit and just go relax and walk away from it. But I didn't, and I still got problems. But yeah, I'll think about it and we'll deal with it another day. Peace. Love, have a heart, 'cause I'm holding my phone, have a heart. I look like crap. Yeah, I was underneath the car. Oh, yeah, I said I'm still debating on 20, but I'll probably do it because it was Mama's car. If it was my own car, I'd put my money into the Kia Racer that I've been driving and know pretty much what it'll take, and I know it'll make another 3. I don't know if I put 25 hours of time in Mama's car, that was just a little town driver, and then, the motor, the 2.7s are biggest junk planet, and the transmissions are not good in the cars either, but it's got 207,000 on it, which either means somebody did some repair work to it to save it from blowing up, or it's going to blow up in the next 2,000 or 3,000 miles. Yeah, I don't know. But that's facts. But no, we'll give it a shot. Yeah. But if I'm going to spend, 25 hours of labor doing stuff for the Kia, I can make sure I go through everything that is leaking and check. And if it's shot, then I'll just take it to scrap pile. But if it's just the seals and stuff and the bushings that are leaking, about, in the water pump, $50 for a water pump, then, timing belt, you got to take all that all apart and pull the motor. But I can pull a motor in that Kia and the transmission ring as fast as I can pull that fuel tank in that Intrepid. Okay? As long as it's nice outside. But what do you do? I'm going to try to take care of my mom and stuff and see if it'll go. Well, I'll listen to God and my angels in the morning, and they're already telling me it's out of the way, kind of. Leave it there. Think about it. And see if you can borrow some air hose and stuff, because you're never going to break these bolts loose or anything out of this car with 220,000 without air, and I don't have enough air hose. So borrow air hose from work that's 50 feet and then it'll reach. Then I'll be good. There's no way I can wrench on this stuff with my arm and wrist and elbow and shoulder taking a crap like it is. I got to use air tool if I go any farther. So, well, we'll see if work will let me borrow a couple air hoses. I'm sure they will, because I always bring my stuff back. If I borrow stuff from them, I bring it back. A lot of people at work borrow stuff from work and then they never return it. I always bring stuff back. But yeah, it's just, I don't know what I'm gonna do for sure. I'm gonna get after it. I'm gonna try on Mama's car. Hope it works. If not, I don't know if I'll go after the Kia. It's gonna get cold and snowing. I'm running out of time here. I ain't got my 4-wheel drive all done right. And I don't want to be driving a Lincoln in crap. I don't want to be driving a Lincoln now. If I could find an old beater, yeah, I got an old Volkswagen, but they're so freaking cold in the winter and they'll go through anything. They're cold yet, 1972. Yeah, I can go through it. But the parts that go through that motor is $3,000 now, because they don't make them anymore. I'll figure it out. But y'all take care and don't get all run down about Nebraska losing. They did the best. Just nothing's working today correct for me in Nebraska. So I kind of felt the same way about them. It's all going correct and it all goes bad. What are you going to do? Just get after it tomorrow, think about it, and use your mind and see if it's worth it or not and keep going. I think maybe I'm going to work on my boat tomorrow. We'll see. Love you. Ciao. Have a good one. God bless you all. God let me wake up tomorrow. I will be back, okay? I promise.